The power of small wins. Build habits that transform your life. Big success isn't built overnight. It's the entrepreneur who takes one tiny risk every day will outgrow the thinker who keeps redrafting their business plan. You don't need to know the entire path. You need to take the first step. Because motion beats perfection. Progress beats planning. And action beats analysis every single time. You say, "What if I fail?" You will. And that's exactly how you learn. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the process of success. Stop making fear your decision maker. Stop giving hesitation your loyalty. You have a choice. You always have a choice. Choose motion over fear. Choose direction over doubt. Choose small wins over waiting. When you start, you activate momentum. And once momentum takes over, everything changes. Tiny progress becomes powerful. Small wins start stacking. You build confidence not by thinking, but by doing. That's how creators rise. That's how athletes dominate. That's how ordinary people build extraordinary lives. They stop waiting for the big moment and start building the small ones. That's the secret. That's the discipline. That's the way forward. Here's what you do today, not tomorrow. Today, pick one thing you've been delaying. It could be a call, a workout, a page, a post, anything. And do it. Right now. Not perfectly. Not completely. Just start. Because once you move, you change your state. Once you act, you shift your identity from the one who waits to the one who does. And that shift is everything. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. You need momentum. And momentum only comes from motion. So stop waiting. Stop planning. Stop overthinking. Start building. Start moving. Start creating. One small win today, another tomorrow. And before you realize it, you've become unstoppable. That's the power of small wins. That's how transformation begins. That's the key. You have a choice. Keep waiting for the right moment or create it. But remember this. Those who wait never arrive. Those who move evolve. You've waited long enough. It's time to build clarity through action. Because action creates clarity. And waiting? Waiting only builds regret. You mastered hesitation today. Now, let's build what comes next. The habit that turns small wins into unstoppable days. Chapter 2. Win the day. Your morning is your control center. The way you start determines the way you finish. If you wake up reactive, checking your phone, scrolling, comparing, you've already surrendered control. You didn't just lose time, you lost direction. The day is now driving you. You're not in the driver's seat anymore. But when you win your morning, you win your day. That's not a quote. It's a law. Every small action you take when the world is still quiet, when no one is watching, that's where self-respect begins. You make your bed. That's not about cleanliness. It's about control. You drink your water, stretch, or journal. That's not about wellness. It's about momentum. You show your brain, I decide how this day goes. That's the key. You have a choice, chaos or command. Most people start in chaos. They snooze the alarm, rush through the shower, skip breakfast, and call it a busy morning. But busy is not productive. Busy is panic in disguise. Discipline is the opposite of panic. So here's the truth. Your morning is not just the start of your day. It's the training ground for your mind. Every morning is a test. Every habit is a vote. And every win stacks. Stack wins early. Set the tone. Own the day before it owns you. Start small. Don't try to overhaul everything in one morning. That's how most people fail. They chase perfection instead of momentum. Follow the 1% rule. Improve just one small behavior every morning for 30 days. 1% improvement a day compounds into unstoppable growth. Here's how it looks in the real world. Day 1, make your bed. Day 2, drink water before coffee. Day 3, write 3 lines of gratitude. Day 4, 10 push-ups before breakfast. None of these win the day by themselves. But together, they build the identity of a winner. Each small victory says, I'm in control. And when your mind believes that, your entire day bends to your will. That's the secret most people ignore. You don't need massive change. You need consistency. You don't need permission. You need discipline. You don't need motivation. You need momentum. That's the formula. Discipline plus repetition equals identity. Think about this. How many times have you said, tomorrow, I'll start fresh? And how many times did tomorrow come and nothing changed? That's because you keep starting from 0 instead of stacking from 1. You don't need to start over. You need to start stronger. When you stack wins early, you build emotional armor for the rest of the day. Traffic won't ruin your mood. A rude email won't derail your focus. Because you've already proven something to yourself before the world had a chance to test you. So, let's make it practical. Here's how you take back your mornings. 1. Wake up on your command. Not your phone's. Set your alarm and get up, no snooze. That first choice decides everything. 2. Do something hard immediately. Cold shower. Quick workout. Journaling. Something that requires effort. Start with discipline, not comfort. 3. Feed your mind before your feet. Don't scroll. Don't check messages. Read something sharp. Listen to something intentional. Train your focus before the world distracts it. 4. Plan your top 3 moves. Not 30 tasks. Just 3. Win those, and you've already outperformed most of the world. That's how you take control. That's how you lead your day. Because here's the harsh truth. If you don't own your morning, someone else will. Your boss, your phone, your stress, they're all waiting to hijack it. But when you create your morning routine, you build a fortress. You start calm. You move with intent. You lead instead of react. And over time, the morning wins become your identity. You stop saying, I'm not a morning person. Because now you are the person who dominates the morning. That's transformation. Not talk. Action. You have a choice, to react or to rise. You can either live in the cycle of distraction or step into the rhythm of discipline. It's not about waking. Chapter 3. Repetition builds identity. You've mastered your mornings. You've learned to start strong, to own the first hour. Now it's time to build something deeper, something permanent. Because routines fade if identity doesn't anchor them. And identity is built on repetition. You are not what you say you'll do. You are what you repeat doing, over and over, without applause, without attention, without needing a reason. That's the truth most people never face. They chase motivation like it's oxygen. But motivation is noise. Repetition is signal. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And systems are just habits. Habits built through repetition. So hear this clearly. What you repeat becomes what you believe. Behavior builds belief, not the other way around. You don't believe you're disciplined and then act disciplined. You act disciplined until your brain finally believes it. That's the key. Neuroscience proves it. Every action you repeat strengthens a neural pathway. It's like carving a groove in your mind. Each repetition makes the groove deeper, faster, automatic. The brain loves efficiency. It doesn't care whether your habit is productive or destructive. It just saves whatever you repeat. If you keep hitting snooze, your brain wires laziness into default mode. If you keep finishing your workout, your brain wires victory as normal. That's how the mind works. Repetition is the sculptor. Identity is the sculpture. You're literally training your neurons to obey your actions. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for belief. You don't feel your way into discipline. You act your way into it. Repeat to become. Repeat to believe. Repeat to achieve. Let's get brutally honest. Most people fail not because they don't know what to do, but because they stop doing it too soon. They want results before identity. They want change before consistency. But identity is a slow burn. It's not built by breakthroughs. It's built by boring, relentless repetition. Every morning routine, every disciplined choice, every small win, that's not maintenance. That's identity construction. Every rep, every page read, every cold shower, every no to distraction. Those are the bricks that build who you are becoming. You're not working out for a six-pack. You're working out to become the kind of person who doesn't skip workouts. You're not journaling for peace of mind. You're journaling to become the kind of person who reflects, grows, and learns daily. That's identity work. Repeat to become. Repeat to believe. Repeat to achieve. Understand this. Repetition isn't glamorous. It's dull. It's uncomfortable. And that's why it works. Repetition kills doubt. Because every time you act, you vote for your future self. You're casting votes for who you want to be. And the more votes you cast, the harder it becomes to doubt that identity. That's why change feels impossible at first. You're voting against years of old identity. But keep showing up, and the votes start to swing. The old you loses power. The new you starts to win elections. That's the invisible transformation no one sees. Consistency looks boring on the surface, but it's atomic underneath. Every repetition triggers a micro change in your brain's wiring, a small feedback loop that says, This is who I am now. Think about it like this. If you repeat fear, you become fear. If you repeat confidence, you become confidence. If you repeat excuses, you become the excuse. If you repeat action, you become unstoppable. The formula never changes. Your life bends to your most repeated thoughts and actions. So, ask yourself, what are you repeating today that you want to believe tomorrow? Because every repeated action whispers a message to your identity. I am this. I am capable. I am consistent. You are programming your future through the smallest repetitions in your present. Here's the rule. Never break the chain. You don't need perfection. You need momentum. You don't need to go harder. You need to keep going. Miss one day, fine. Miss two, and the old identity starts knocking. That's why repetition isn't optional. It's survival for your progress. You have to protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. The life you're trying to build depends on what you repeat. Repeat to become. Repeat to believe. Repeat to achieve. You've learned how repetition builds your identity. Now, let's talk about the greatest threat to that identity, distraction. Because what you feed your focus, you feed your future. Chapter 4. Progress is greater than perfection. Perfection is a lie. It's a mask that fear wears to look respectable. You tell yourself you're waiting until it's ready. You're not. You're waiting until you feel safe. And safety kills growth. Perfection is the oldest form of procrastination. It's comfort disguised as preparation. And the truth is brutal. Most people would rather appear ready than actually start. That's why so many stay stuck. Not because they lack talent. Not because they lack opportunity. But because they're terrified of being seen imperfect. Perfection is a trap. Progress is freedom. Think about it. Every great creator, every innovator, every success story you know, they launched messy. They started before they were ready. They began with doubt, with flaws, with rough edges. They didn't wait for approval. They moved. When Steve Jobs built the first Apple computer, it wasn't sleek. It wasn't beautiful. It was a box with wires. But it worked. When YouTubers start, their lighting is bad, their sound is worse, but they post. When writers begin, their words are raw, but they publish. That's how real growth happens. Not in perfection, but in iteration. You don't refine by waiting. You refine by doing. You don't get better by planning. You get better by progressing. Because every action teaches you more than 100 thoughts ever will. Done beats perfect. Progress beats planning. Motion beats meditation. Say it again. Done beats perfect. Progress beats planning. Motion beats meditation. That's the mindset of every person who changes their life. You can't build confidence by thinking. You build it by moving. Action is the antidote to fear. Fear thrives in stillness. It feeds on hesitation. But the moment you act, fear starves. You'll never eliminate fear. You move through it. Because fear can't keep up with motion. That's why progress matters more than perfection. Because motion creates clarity. Perfection creates paralysis. Let's be clear. This doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means raising your execution. Stop asking, is it ready? Start asking, did I move today? That's the real metric. Not flawless output, but forward motion. Progress builds confidence. Confidence builds consistency. Consistency builds mastery. You can't skip the order. You can't perfect what you haven't practiced. The first draft is ugly. The first video is awkward. The first rep is shaky. But that's the point. That's where you begin. Every master was once messy. Every expert was once embarrassed. Every success story was once a rough draft. The only difference is they didn't stop there. They pressed publish. They shipped. They iterated. They learned. Then they did it again. And that repetition, not perfection, made them unstoppable. Think about your own life. How many times have you delayed a dream because it wasn't ready? How many plans are still sitting in your notes app because you're still researching? That's perfection whispering. Not yet. You've got to silence it with action. The truth? There is no ready. There is only now. You don't need a perfect plan. You need momentum. You don't need more time. You need a first step. You don't need certainty. You need courage. Done beats perfect. Progress beats planning. Motion beats meditation. Here's the mental shift. Every action is a draft. Every day is version 1. Treat your progress like software, always updating, never finished. You fix bugs. You add features. You evolve. That's how real success works. Iteration is improvement in motion. You'll make mistakes. Good. You'll look foolish. Even better. Because that means you're moving, and movement is everything. Perfection wants you frozen. Progress wants you free. Choose freedom. Remember this. The world doesn't reward the person who plans the most. It rewards the person who executes the most. Ideas don't change the world. Execution does. And yes, you will fail. You will stumble. You will publish things that make you cringe later. But that's not failure. That's feedback. Every imperfect attempt is data. Every rough draft is proof that you're in the arena. The person who acts imperfectly is still miles ahead of the one who waits perfectly. Stop polishing your potential. Start producing your progress. Stop waiting for permission. Start collecting repetitions. Because once you start moving, perfection loses its grip. You realize progress isn't pretty, but it's powerful. And that's how transformation happens. One imperfect action at a time. Done beats perfect. Progress beats planning. Motion beats meditation. You've learned how progress builds momentum. Now it's time to master what sustains it, resilience. Because it's not about how perfectly you start. It's about how strongly you recover. Chapter 5. Stack wins until you can't lose. You've learned to control your mornings. You've built identity through repetition. You've learned that progress destroys perfection. Now it's time to talk about the end game, momentum. Not random, lucky momentum, but self-built, unstoppable, compounding momentum. Because once you start stacking wins, you reach a point where you don't just win. You can't lose. Let's get something straight. Success isn't built overnight. It's built daily, brick by brick, rep by rep, win by win. And every single small win multiplies. That's right, multiplies, not adds. This is the compounding effect of discipline. It's not arithmetic, it's exponential. Each small win fuels the next. Each victory strengthens the belief that another is possible. Confidence compounds. Focus compounds. Resilience compounds. You become a momentum machine, self-sustaining, self-reinforcing, unstoppable. That's the secret no one tells you. Winning once feels good. Winning daily changes who you are. Think of it like this. A single workout builds effort. A week of workouts builds discipline. A month of workouts builds identity. And 6 months? It builds inevitability. Because once you've stacked enough proof, doubt loses its power. That's how success works. It's not one big win. It's thousands of small ones. When the morning, when the workout, when the meeting, when the decision to stay calm when chaos hits. Those tiny, quiet wins, they're the real trophies. Win today, win tomorrow, win again, until you can't lose. Here's what people miss. Small wins don't look powerful until they're unstoppable. You won't feel transformation after one day. You'll feel it after 100. Because by then, your brain isn't negotiating anymore. It's expecting to win. And that's when you know you've shifted from discipline to dominance. That's the compounding curve of success. At first, it's invisible, boring, repetitive, frustrating. Then suddenly, it spikes. Your consistency pays interest. Your habits start working for you instead of against you. That's not luck. That's math. That's momentum. Every small win is a seed. Every repetition waters it. Every day you show up, the roots grow deeper. At first, it's invisible. Then one day, everyone else calls it overnight success. But you'll know the truth. You earned it, in silence, through stacks of daily wins that nobody clapped for. You don't need applause when you've built proof. You don't need validation when you've built momentum. You have a body of evidence that says, I can't lose anymore. Let's make this real. Here's how you start stacking wins today. 1. Define your daily victories. Keep them small, specific, achievable. Don't chase 100 things. Focus on 3 you can win. 2. Track your wins visibly. Write them. Mark them. See your progress. Because what you track, you grow. 3. Protect your streaks. When you win today, don't break the chain tomorrow. Let the chain grow until it becomes unbreakable. 4. Reward consistency, not outcome. Outcomes are delayed. Process is now. And process wins forever. That's how you compound success. You stop waiting for big breaks and start manufacturing small wins. Every morning, you have one job, stack another win. Win your routine. Win your mindset. Win your focus. And the more wins you stack, the heavier your momentum gets, until nothing can push it backward. That's when life bends to you. Because here's the truth. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the fastest. You just need to be the one who never stops stacking wins. Winners aren't built in bursts. They're built in layers, thin, consistent, unstoppable layers of effort. While others chase intensity, you chase consistency. While others wait for perfect moments, you create daily victories. Win small, win early, win often. Because the mind loves repetition, and every win you repeat becomes part of your DNA. Win today, win tomorrow, win again, until you can't lose. This isn't just motivation, it's mathematics. Compounding wins are exponential power. You can't lose if you never stop stacking. You can't fail if you never stop moving. And you can't break if you never stop building. Momentum doesn't need luck. It just needs you, consistent, relentless, and disciplined. So from this day forward, build your empire one victory at a time. It won't look dramatic. It won't go viral. But it will last forever. Because progress isn't about explosion. It's about accumulation. Stack wins until it becomes your nature. Stack wins until doubt can't find a way in. Stack wins until success is your default setting. Win today, win tomorrow, win again, until you can't lose. You've learned to command your mornings, your mindset, and your momentum. You've built discipline, crushed perfection, and multiplied your wins. Now the mission is simple: live it. Because mastery isn't taught, it's repeated. And repetition, stacked with daily wins, makes you unstoppable. This isn't the end. It's the launch point. You've built the engine. Now drive it, full speed. Because once you learn to stack wins, you can't lose. Every success story you admire was built one small win at a time. Not one viral moment. Not one miracle. One small, relentless, repeated win. You don't need luck. You need consistency. You don't need talent. You need repetition. You don't need approval. You need momentum. The power of small wins isn't a theory, it's a challenge. For the next 7 days, commit to one small win every single morning. Just one. Do it even when you're tired. Do it even when nobody's watching. And when your mind whispers, "It doesn't matter," you answer back, "This is how I change." Because this quiet, consistent, daily commitment is how transformation begins. Small wins, big life. Now go build yours.